Greetings, world and Femi. I am Richard,
And I am Gary.
and together we are rocking Pandora's
Pandora's Box.
Box.
Yay!
Woo!
Woohoo! We were
We
nearly
kind
in
of got
sync on
it.
that one.
Oh my gosh, we are so funny. How are you, my brother?
I'm very, very good, Richard. And how are you?
I'm doing good. I am, well, I'm always great. I wake up happy. I go to bed happy. So therefore, I'm always happy. But I gotta say, like the energies right now are very, very funny. I think you've got a few stories about timeline shifts. I'm
Yep.
living them in my house, whether it be my computers. All of a sudden, I wake up this morning and everything is different, new, leaving me perplexed. Lights that are in the walls, like I have in my bathroom, Gary, these red LED lights, so that at night when I go to pee, like at 1, 2 in the morning, the lights are off, but there's a red hue or red glue. So they haven't been working for, I don't know, months and months and months. All of a sudden, poof, they're back on for no reason, and they stay on all the time. So I don't know, like our the time shift lines are like it's really wobbly right now, and I
Yes.
feel it within me as well.
Yep.
Sometimes I feel real, sometimes I feel like I'm sleepwalking.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's just me, right? Yeah.
No, no, no. I've been the same, I have to say. Last week I was driving in the car with the lovely Mel,
Yes.
and we stopped at the traffic lights. I can't remember where we're going or what we were doing, but I remember we stopped at the traffic lights, and all of a sudden I got a dizzy, shaky feeling which I've had before.
Hmm.
Talked about it before when I was taxi driving with the kids and the door mirror changing position, and I knew that we had changed a frequency, timeline frequency,
Hmm.
level of something. But that was a big change. I really felt it, and I was like, "Whoa!" And since then, I have to say I have been feeling kind of on the titchy side of life, and that's not normally me. I've been feeling a little bit shorter with loved ones than I would normally.
Less patience, you mean?
Yes, less
Okay.
patience.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. If something doesn't go right straight away, it's like "Rah." And I've actually started to notice that with some other people around me recently who are getting triggered quite quickly over things that they should really have the ability to sit back and analyze in a more considered way.
Well, it's funny you should say this because my mom Z. So she's so cute. She leaves me notes because I'm always busy on the corner of the table. Come talk to me when you're free, the boss. So I go see her, and she says, "Richard, like you seem like more impatient with me, and I have not realized it, right? I think Gary, it's got and Femi, probably because of the time jumps, the timeline jumps, but also time is going faster than it ever was." And because of that, we are put into like this vortex, like a spinning tornado, maybe, of time and space, and therefore we one feel like we have a lack of time, so patience would come from that. And like I wasn't aware I was being impatient, but like I said, oh shoot, I'm sorry, I'm gonna do everything I can not to be that way because I don't want to be that way, right? Because well, I love you. And so there's something there, there's something happening,
Yeah.
and it would point to be that it's actually a very good thing because we are like entering to
It's a
like
change. It's another change. Yeah.
yes,
And
yes.
and the fact that we would be feeling let's call it in a nice way, a few degrees off. Okay. So we're a couple of degrees off and not quite centered. So we've kind of lent one way and we need to get back to the center. But
Yeah.
that's really interesting because that means things are happening, you know,
Yes.
and we can observe that by, and again, please, Femi, be very mindful not to fall out with loved ones over trivial, silly little
Mm.
things because it's easier to keep you shut than it is to have to go around and grovel and apologize And, although it's a learning experience, all of this is a learning experience. You know, I've been aware that I've been shorter, and so I've been trying not to.
React.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, the thing is right? Like my grandmother always told me, and my mother, like, roll your tongue 10 times before speaking, because once it comes out of your hole of your face, you can't take it back.
yeah.
Right. So, yeah, you're right. We got to be more mindful.
Remember,
Yeah.
love and light, everybody. Remember, these are
Yeah.
the people you love.
And
They're
rock and roll.
absolutely. But if you are feeling this way and you have the opportunity, get out and do something you love doing.
Mm.
Even if it's doing a bit of gardening, sticking your feet in the mud and just like grounding yourself for half an hour, 20 minutes if you can. Even if you lunch break, walk down to the park bench, kick your shoes off, put your feet in the mud, on the ground, on the grass, eat your sandwiches, and just,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So there we go. Now, now, I mean, shall we bring up the moon bit now while we're talking about that? Because I do think that that's really is linked into this change. So Richard's wanted to speak about the moon and the effect it's having currently on the
Mm.
Femi and the people around. And I certainly think Richard's onto something here. So, Richard, would you like to talk about the moon and what
Mhm.
you're seeing or feeling at the moment with the moon?
Well, thank you, my dear brother. And of course, I will take the beautiful challenge of the moon. So, yes, Femi, I go into my meditation this morning and I look within my inner flame and I look at the collective. This is what I've been doing now for over a month now. Every day I go into, maybe it's 5 minutes, maybe 10. But what is going on? What do I resonate? And of course, I'm going to tap into number one, the family, and then the collective, because we are all family here. So when I look, it's like regarding like all of us here branching out to the collective. And what I saw is there is a lot happening with divine feminine coming online. Now, it's something very potent. Comes with the rise, the reawakening and remembrance of Gaia, of Lemuria, of any kind of frequency that is heart centered and not mental centered. So, what do I mean? If we are going to compare Lemuria to Atlantis, Lemuria was more divine feminine, heart centered in creation with its frequencies, whereas Atlantean was more like male dominated and constructing. So, I'm tapping into, and I'm seeing, like there's so much going on right now. Going full back circle to our intro with the timelines collapsing or shifting. So, what's going on? I tapped into emotions being raw. I tapped into the feminine DNA and all the reproductive organs, meaning like menstrual cycles could be off. Okay, some could bleed more, less, not at all the time. It's like a constant looping right now. So I went even deeper and more profound with my inner flame. And what I saw was like exactly the imagery of the moon reshaping. Now, for those of you who follow us, who follow me, separate or together, we do feel, Gary and I, that the moon was an artificial construct that was brought into our simulation. When? Well, I'm tapping into around Lemurian times or just before that. And that moon that came in, not organic, because I do feel that Gaia, at first, I don't think I'm wrong because I really looked deeply into this. And when she was like fused with the sun energy. Then the moon came in, and the moon came in almost like a watcher, a stalker, a controller to put this grid over Gaia, like a controlling fact, like a watcher, if you want. So the moon, would mirror Gaia's energy. And it was not organic in the best of ways, right? It kind of, because before in the Lemurian times, I do believe that women might have had menstrual cycles, I don't know what, once, twice a year, but it was not about releasing toxins. It was more of a celebration or a recalibration. It was very, very different than how it is seen today. So that moon was, like I always like to say that Darth Vader in my head lives in there. Um, it was something to control and steal from Gaia in order to trap her children. But now, as Gaia has been awakening, and like I love to say, she's loud, proud, and online right now. Oh, you got your ants happening. Huh? That's a very good sign, my brother. You know, with her coming online, what I did tap into, that instead of her now being strong and awake, what I might have done is like destroy the moon, with my sheer will. But no, that would have had a ripple effect. So, with her love and coming online out of her slumber, she was able to use all of her divine energy and transmute what the moon used to do in her favor, therefore, our favor. And with this, I think this is why like emotions are quite sketchy right now. I keep repeating the period because I do, hear it, whether I do hair on clients or personal Zooms. There is something weird with the menstrual cycle. I think it's just a recalibration happening right now. And if you are one of those who have that symptom, I don't see it lasting very long. It's something that's being transmuted. So, I believe that the moon will be staying here. I don't know for how long, but it's not got that weird stalker taking away the powers in order to do the upside down, okay, like the reversed. Janice, maybe the two pillars, the upside down for you, Gary.
Yeah.
And yeah, so there's that.
That's brilliantly said. I mean, the timeline change I felt, I have not felt the same since. And actually, I've had a really achy, strange leg and back pain, which I haven't had in years.
Yes.
And so that means I've gone somewhere else, and where I am somewhere else physically, that version of Gary has a dodgy back again, as the version before didn't anymore. Do you see what I mean?
I do, but I'm seeing also something else tapping into, because okay, like number one, let's just face it, okay? Everyone here, we all exist because of divine feminine, and because we all come through a portal of divine feminine. So if divine feminine, okay, is healing from all that post-trauma, that putting let down, the foot and back of the neck, the hunting like during the Salem's witch trials, everything that was ever done to sacred divine feminine, and she's purifying herself right now. I think that divine masculine will also be receiving some kind of clearing post-trauma, whether it's ancestral or anything.
Yeah,
because
balancing.
when she's healed, then she calls out to divine masculine, and he will be coming in, okay, yes, as a protector, as a shelterer, as one who will uphold and stand by his woman, not to control and dominate. That is divine forming. So I think maybe like these sensations that us divine masculine are having has got to do with this too. Because first it's divine feminine, the end. We cannot exist just with divine masculine. That doesn't make sense to me.
No.
Regardless about the Titans, apparently Titans was mostly men. I still can't wrap my head around them just yet, but I will. Yeah. I will.
I actually think the Titans were actually more females than men, because very few
Mhm.
mountain ranges or very few mountain areas were actually called after men. It's only later on when men climbed those mountains that the name of the man who climbed the mountain was given to the mountain.
Or maybe that was a major, what's the expression Mel gave us for a,
Oh. Skullduggery.
it could have been a skullduggery, right?
Yeah.
Like they were actually men, but they called them women. And now come full circles to what we're getting out of is everything is transgender. I don't know. This is what I'm getting right now. It could be a skullduggery.
Skullduggery. Yeah, and that's the polite word that we had to ask Mel for because we were going to use something which ended in uckery. And we didn't want to use that word.
Well, too late. Da. A little bit is okay.
Yes, yes,
A
yes.
little bit is
But
okay.
when we're trying to sort of like explain
Mm,
something that's profound,
mm.
skullduggery works in a much gentler and much
I love it. Yeah.
it's almost sophisticated, Richard. I mean, gosh, we could be sophisticated now, I say.
Okay. I don't like it, but okay. Oh.
New? Well, in a new timeline, why not try something new?
Well, yes, as well. I can be sophisticated, but like me. That means like don't swear all the time. Yeah. So skullduggery is good. I'm fine with that.
I
And
love
it's
that.
got that rock and roll thing to it, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So
So
that's what I feel about the moon, like there's something very potent and changing about her. And that's what I do feel, that's going on. That's what I saw in my meditation right now. Because maybe, what's going on with me? Why do I feel like this? I haven't felt like this for a long time. Do I need to go see my doctor? Do I need to get on antidepressants? I'm no doctor, but I'm going to say no. I think ride the wave, it's cleansing.
hmm.
That's what it is. It's cleansing.
See, I had a very interesting question from on one of my videos the other day, and lady asked, and sorry because I'm just talking about, I haven't looked at it, but a lady asked about the color of the sun and
Mhm.
if the sun color at the moment sort of was a reflection of kind of where we are and what's going on. And now for me, the fact that the moon is now changing and we're right at the end of this age,
Mhm.
we're about to, there's a window of opportunity where we're about to move out from the 3D realm fully into the 5, and it's a good probably 15-10 year window of opportunity, so there's no panic, there's no stress over this whatsoever. But what we're seeing, and I'm sure you can remember as a child, when I was a child, the sun was yellow, almost orange in color.
Oh yes, of course, vividly.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And now the sun is white in color.
Well, it's a spotlight, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. In dawn and dusk periods, it goes orange again for a short
Mhm.
while, but the rest of the time it's white. Okay. And I think the sun has changed color just as the moon is now. So we've got the sun that way, and where's the
Mhm.
moon gone? Where is it? Somewhere. It's probably above my head even
I
further.
think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But the sun has changed color because the energy is changing and the realm is getting ready for a reset. And
Oh,
so the color of the sun affects the energy waves coming into the toroidal field of consciousness, our realm, and so could also be affecting the moon. And what we're seeing could be um, almost the opportunity for Gaia to be waking up and taking her power back because the change in the sun's energetic waveform is now affecting the moon, which means Gaia can come online and save her children.
I love how you say this. Love, 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 love all this. So, because I see like the white sun like a spotlight, so therefore artificial. But what you're saying, I think what you're saying is that right now the white could almost be like that crystalline color. Is that
It's
where
an
you're
energy,
going at?
yeah, it's an energy change. And because Maten and I did a talk 3 months ago, maybe
Hmm.
more. And this is quite like a highbrow 2.5 hour job. Oh,
Okay.
honestly, it was a right out there job. And I did a slideshow with it.
Hmm.
And within this slideshow, we were talking about the planetary alignment and how it affects us in human design, and how planets in certain phases make people react and act in a different way sometimes,
Hmm.
just as the moon does. You know, when the moon's in full moon, we get lunacy, don't we? Because the lunar energy creates and unleashes something in people that cannot be controlled anymore. So that's where we get the term lunatic from. But if you could imagine the planets change color and they could go from red all the way down to white, and the red color is means some kind of energy is different to that, so we have a spectrum of energy waves coming through.
Hmm.
And at the moment the energy wave of the sun is completely different to my childhood, completely different. And so is people's attitudes and the way they look at the world currently. And we have a big split. Whether we like it or not, we have a split.
Hmm.
We have the 3D kind of NPC type person, and we have those who are in the towards the 5D realm, where they're doing the inner work, looking at themselves and really pushing themselves spiritually to grow. Now, maybe the sun's the trigger, and the fact that the Schumann resonance, which is part of the energy of Mother Gaia, which is, I mean, the Schumann resonance in the last year or six or so has been building bigger and bigger and bigger. We've seen it.
Yeah.
Has the sun's change in colour affected the moon? So released the shackles of Mother Gaia because of the frequency, so the Schumann resonance can rise and Mother Gaia can come back and protect her children and animals and move them through into safety when the opportunity comes. And that's the way I see it.
I've never looked at it that way, my Gary. But let me just see what Aurelien here. So what Gary says, is there, yeah, it seems there's a lot of truth to that. So, because I did think that it was like an artificial spotlight and maybe the sun, I don't know where the real sun from our childhood was. So is that white sun the original sun? Huh, hold on.
I
I'm
don't
getting
think it
it's
is.
not.
No, it's not.
So it is a spotlight. So the real sun's in back of it, maybe, or around it.
Or the real sun is in regression almost. The real sun, we only see it in dawn and at dusk. So we only see the real sun at dawn and dusk, and then it could be like an eclipse where the sun is then blocked out,
Yeah, like it. Uh-huh.
and we get like this kind of strange eclipse where the spotlight comes on and then shines for the rest of the day until we get to the real sun where the spotlight goes off and the real sun comes back and sets.
So is the real sun in back of the spotlight, Aurelien? Is it not in back of the spotlight? See, I'm getting like you're right about the eclipse, but I feel that that light bulb spotlight comes in front of it somehow. And that's what we see. And that's what you said, I guess, with the eclipse kind of feeling. But then it goes out. So that's still funny. Like flick the switch, light flash goes off, and then oh, we see the real one. It's orange all over again. And then the sky goes purple and pink and
Yeah,
lilac and the beautiful colors we remember.
yeah.
So you want to know if that white spotlight has been put there in order to
Change
help
something.
to,
Yeah,
yeah. and with the moon. Is that what you mean? Like
Yeah.
reflecting to the moon? Okay.
Well, it's changed the frequency, and the frequency being changed, has that had an effect on the moon and its ability to stifle Gaia?
So stifle, that means like to help
Hot,
her.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, the new sun is changed the frequency, and now Gaia can rise because the frequency's changed.
Well, that is a yes. But can I grab some cards? Because higher
Please.
stuff is telling me to do
Yeah.
some cards. We want these ones. The old-fashioned looking deck, my Febby. Higher self, oversoul, and universe. Please tell me everything I need to see, everything I need to know in what Gary and I are just describing. So we've been uncomfortable for a long period of time with the Hanged Man being enlightened. That's the first one that came out, jumped out as the first card. Major Arcana. All right, so everything that we've been discussing about this sun, the white flash, the spotlight, and then helping in these now moments. Okay, so what else do I have? So it's a yes. I mean, these three cards came out. We've been uncomfortable for a long period of time, being enlightened. Then this is a hell yes. Look at this. It does look like the sun being offered, or the moon within the universe's hand, a grant, an alpha, because we were on the outskirt of feeling abundant with whatever was making us very uncomfortable here. But fives are short-lived. Let me go on. What else can I get? My gar for me. Oh, yes, yes, yes. More cards. Woo! Let's rock and roll. So next in line of the now moment, yeah, because it is inner conflict, war of information. Okay, the moon could be seen as an air element, but this is creating havoc within the mind put into words. Hard to beat. Yeah, we've been juggling here around the two of pineapples. Could be juggling suns, but this we have to make a choice. Yay, nay, left, up, down. But it is calculating. We're talking about the sun, the two suns, the white and the gold one. That's the heartbeat. Next, we do have off-world generosity coming, for the meek will inherit the earth. So whatever was happening in the background to keep us in the state of the Five of Swords, which is inner conflict and fear. I got two fives, huh? So like out of feeling abundant, so on the outskirt of feeling complete with yourself, and inner conflict. Also, as a reader, my family, when I get a set of fives, in 9 cards, they get neutralized. For the future, we do have, yay, the 9 of pineapple, self-made, sovereign, independent, in need or lack of no one to lord over her. Then we have all our wishes are granted and manifested with the 9 of cups. And then we end with the happiest card, the sun. Okay, so we're talking about the sun. The sun is going back to orange. Now we have Gaia here holding her son, birthing. Okay, she's like ready to midwife something here, huh? Heartbeat, we do have, because we've been, again, self-inflicted mental imprisonment with the old system. And then we end with justice in its karmic punch. And there's your Janice right there, my Gary. So the answer is a yes. And again, I repeat myself, in 9 cards, when I have a set of fives, they get neutralized. What is neutralized? The old sun, or whatever has been there, or the restoration, we're leaving that interference that kept us on the outskirt of feeling abundant and having mental confusement or inner warring. We end with the sun, so that's really powerful. And that I speak the truth with the Knight of Swords. Did I answer your question?
I think you answered your own question there. Yeah. That's really the card spread has shown us very clearly is that we are going for a transitional period. And the fact that the sun is now white does mean that Gaia is able to rebirth just as we were
Yes.
talking about, produce something new, which is the five. I can get the flesh of the goose now.
Oh,
Ooh,
your
your
colors, yeah.
colors. So so yeah, I'm getting that. Ooh, is that better? Try the light.
Well,
That's better.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
right,
not
right, right.
black. Okay, yeah, there it's better for a second or
Yeah,
two.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, what we're getting is the fact that it looks like Gaia is coming back online. We're seeing the rise of this, and the fact that the sun is now yellow is an indication that we're getting it to the end of the cycle. And that's what the two fives represented for me. Short lived. Now, in our timeline, it's going in and out, it's going in
Look
and
at the
out. Come
clip.
on, silly camera, work. um, the fact that in our timeline,
Mhm.
we see years as a long time. You think how long Gaia has been sat there not doing anything.
It's a small amount of time. Yeah.
And so the fives could represent what I was talking about from 2027 to 2040 when the window opens of the opportunity for us to go out. And the two fives represent that period of time where in universal, there we got color again now, blooming thing. It works in that way. So yeah, yeah.
Poor you with the lights. It's so hard to concentrate, huh?
Doing my head in. There we go.
Well,
Is what
leave
it
it
is.
as is.
It is what
It
it
is
is.
what it is.
Yeah.
But no, I find that very interesting. I think that this is a great thing, and it's all happening. It all ends well with the cards.
Yes. Yeah, it
No,
does.
yeah. Someone keeps phoning me over and over, and it's always the same person. I'm gonna just turn my phone upside down.
They obviously love you. One of your
Well,
fans.
yes, I am lovable, I think, I hope.
Well, that was really interesting because that's kind of taken us on to another thing where I don't know about you, but we were talking earlier about how did all this begin? How did
Uh-huh.
it begin? What is the beginning of this? Because we're kind of near the end of the cycle. Lovely flip, by the way. Lovely flip.
Thank you for noticing.
So I think it's quite clear that we're near the end of the cycle. The moon, the effect that the moon had, and what was it? 4039 BC is when the moon first appeared. By the way, everybody, if you're nerdy like me.
And that would be Lemurian or just before, right?
Yeah, that would have been around exactly the same time when the 200 Watchers came down, the Anunnaki came in, because
Okay.
the moon came in, and they came in because of the effect of the moon, and I think they were very, very aware of the negative connotations of the moon.
Okay.
And so we then get the more modern history of the world that we now
Mm,
know. But
yeah.
really, there's no history beyond 4,300, 4,500 BC. There just isn't
Mhm.
any because we had a big reset, which we've now coming up to again. You know, now what I would like to look at is let's go all the way back to the beginning of how we even got here.
Mhm.
How was this created? What was this realm? Who created this realm? Who was involved in the creation of this realm? You know, because it's I think with the way that we can talk about the sun going from yellow to white and different colors and we know there's different dimensional frequencies and stuff like that. I believe very firmly that we are in the toroidal field of consciousness. So
Mhm.
this is a thought. We live inside a thought of energy, a frequency, almost like a music. You know, regardless whether we like the Bible or not. The first thing was the word, and the word is a frequency. And to have a word, there must be a thought process. So there was a thought and a frequency that created something. Okay, so I wonder what did and who did. And I think that would be very, very interesting because I don't think we've not really ever looked at that before, have we?
Well, we haven't. Us? No, we have
No,
not.
no,
No.
no, no.
And that would have been the great
Spider grandmother.
architects.
Well, yeah,
Uh-huh.
it would have been the architects, the great architects, whoever they are. But my understanding of it is the Indians called the first creator Spider grandmother.
Hmm.
Now, I've looked into this, and I know you have as well a bit, Richard. Because this is a real. It's not like you can just go, oh yeah, I'll pick up a book and it'll tell me, because there's no books about this.
No, there's not. Mm.
It has to be knowings, feelings, flesh of the goose, and everything else that goes with it. Because
Mhm.
because we're dealing in not knowings, it's feelings, almost activating the old DNA of memories from the past,
Remembrance.
remembrance. Now, there's two names that keep coming up when I look at stuff like this. Okay, and please, I'm no expert on this stuff at all, and we're just looking at this as a very, very rough overview of
Uh-huh.
what we feel, what we see. There are many that really do know this inside and out. Brilliant. But
Mm.
we want to put our own take on it and see where we go. Because we don't know too much about this, this gives us the option of not have been guided or taken down one road or another road.
Right.
Okay. Now, Spider Grandmother and Sophia and Gaia are the three entities, energies, female energies, whatever you want to call them, gods even, that are involved in the creation of this. They're the names that come up constantly. Okay.
Hmm.
And when I looked at Spider Grandmother, something that struck me, and I know that I've spoken to Richard Fammy about this, because I was not, I was fairly sure I was onto something, but I needed Richard seeing further into the depth of this one, because I don't have that ability to really meditate deeply and see the things that Richard does. Well, Spider Grandmother, we would see a spider, we would see one thing. But actually, if you think about it, the spider had 8 legs. And so I felt that there were 8 beings or 8 entities that created what the Indians would call Spider Grandmother. Now, Richard,
Mhm.
you looked into this, didn't you?
I didn't.
What did you get?
Well, because guys, this has been very new to me lately. I've had a few different conversations, and especially regarding archetypes, right, of our universe. And Gary has mentioned a lot about Spider Grandmother. And so, I tap in, and then we're talking about the legs. So I go into my meditation and I go quite deep around this whole subject. So it is deep, and do I really fully understand everything that I was able to catch? No, not totally, but I know we got something going on here that is a very truthful. So each of her legs would have touched like a different template. I did write some notes here that are a bit scattered, but how I would have seen is that, let me see, where did I find this? All right, so it would have been okay, because basically this is it. Huh? Grandmother Spider, accordingly to the Hopi, would have been a primordial. Okay, so as she's spinning time, she had birthed in with her 8 legs the elementals. One leg for the elementals, one that governs memory, one that touches birth and death, and rebirth, one that holds a dreamscape, one seated divine masculine, the other divine feminine, and one actually birthed Sophia, the Gnosis spark who then became Gaia's soul. So what I also got is that Sophia did not descend from grandmother spider in like a mother-daughter way, like, you know, through a portal giving birth. It was something very different that I had gotten. But through her cosmic gateway, okay, like in a mythic map. So there are people like me, Gary, and also Mel, that would have been linked to this, but maybe I'll keep this for a little later, right? So those are the like legs that I got. They all had a function, but what I really fell upon was that the Sophia aspect as one of them. And
So,
then, yes,
so what we're talking about is 8 individuals or 8 thoughts
yes,
that created the body of Spider Grandmother,
yes,
who was then able to weave and create the world as we see it via a toroidal field of consciousness. This is where we get the
yeah.
toroidal field of consciousness from:
Mm.
the thought, the word, the vibrational frequency. So the effect of Spider Grandmother spinning her web from the 8 points of fractals created the whole fractal of the realm. It's a very big concept to get your head round, and it's a real mind bender. But I think it's very important that we understand this, because from this everything comes from it.
Mm.
So when we say spiritually we are a fractal of the creator, what we're actually saying is we are a fractal of Spider Grandmother, who was part of the 8. Does that make sense? Sorry to interrupt you, Richard,
Mm-hmm.
but that's the way I see it. And Richard's saying exactly the same thing, but in different language.
Mm-hmm. Well, yes, because me, it came in like more through imagery, and this is like the verbiage I was able to like dice. So, because when I come out, I kind of record what I say, so I don't lose everything. But yeah, we are talking about the 8, and it's something very potent and very, very interesting indeed. Yes.
Because 8 on its side is the infinity symbol.
Well, that's right. Yes. Oh, a web.
A web of It's a web.
Oh, look
It's
at
a
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and its endings and its beginnings. And
Hmm.
we're, if you can imagine, we're at that center point where we're just about to go into the center of the 2 8s, so we can get out of here through the 5th dimension before the reset going back round again to come back upon itself.
And that's why time is speeding up, because we're going through that vacuum at the center. Leave one like a vacuum, then poof out of the other one. 5D.
Very interesting. So
Mm.
the bit with Sophia,
Yes.
okay, which Sophia is not the daughter of Spider Grandmother. Sophia is not the cousin or relative of Spider Grandmother. Sophia is a fractal of Spider Grandmother, just as we are.
Mm.
But she would be one of the first fractals, because Richard and I looked at this because we could not quite work out, it's a relative, it's a connection to, but what actually is Sophia.
Hmm. Yeah.
Now, Richard and I, obviously Sophia has got some kind of influence here.
Hmm.
Sophia came into this realm And what were your words about that, Richard? It was
Well, she had come in voluntarily on her own, while she was like just like, without a shape or anything, more of an energy, but she came in with a sense of compassion. Okay, through grandmother spider. Like, I don't know what had happened. Something had compromised at one point. And with great self compassion, she decided to come either through a leg or one of the silky spider webs into our simulation for a great purpose. And with that, what I got, Gary, is that between grandmother spider and Sophia, they together birth it in a way, not like a mother births a child, but what's the word I'm looking for when you okay, so you don't want to give birth at midwife, you midwife. Okay, so like midwifing Gaia, and that was like a sentient being, not a place, but an energy that had life. So I don't really know how it was made to be at first, but there was a corruption. And then the cavalry came in, and out of compassion, as if she can see down like the road to when it was needed. But
see
it came with compassion. It was pure love, the energy I saw.
when you said spider web, you said Sophia came in through a spider web. It wasn't a spider web, it was a golden thread. And it's exactly the same golden thread that you get coming into you now. And
Yes.
I've got so much flesh of the
Yeah,
goose on
yeah,
that
yeah,
one.
yeah, I feel it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So the
yeah.
golden thread, the high pitched noise that we hear,
So it would
well,
be this. Oh my God, all related full circle, rock and roll. Wow.
wow. That just hit me like that was a knowing. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
it's a
yeah. I'm getting
spider's
you
web.
got something there because
Go,
all our ringings are different right now, right?
yes.
Aurelia is our Gargar right in everything that he says. My galloping stallion. Is there any way he is wrong? Changing gears, changing channels, going to a no. So that is a very interesting. Grandmother Spider, the web creator. And now, like, I could feel it like that golden thread. It is all one of the same. So we are all coming online. Because I know, Fanny, you too, most of you, your ringings are very different now. They're not as aggressive. They're not like bomb divers, right? It's more like musical. Ah, I love it. Now I got the flesh of the goose.
Oh, I tell
Woo!
you, it's just because as Richard and I bounce off each other, he'll get a knowing, or I'll get a knowing, or he'll see something, and this is how we build pictures up of things that we have no
Yes.
real knowledge of, and we a lot of the sometimes we do this privately between ourselves, and we'll talk about something.
Mm-hmm.
And I did say to Richard we should really record this, but the way we do it, we really are ourselves, and the language can be quite fruity, and we can go in very strange directions, and it's definitely not a YouTube video thing. So
Mm.
so we may record ones in the future and put them somewhere else in the future, okay? We're not promising you that, but we might, so you get to see how we work, because this is kind of how we do work off each other. So Sophia is a fractal of Spider grandmother who was birthed, or was a creational of Spider grandmother. So she's a fractal. Now, when Richard talked, or both spoke to me about the 8 legs and told me about what the 8 legs meanings were, one jumped out at me and it slapped me round the face. And
Mm-hmm.
that one was birth and deaths and rebirth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's somebody I've been talking about for a long time. And that's Janice. And the pendulum's showing that very clearly. I mean, look at that, it's really going now. So one of the original creators that created and was part of Spider Grandmother was a deceiver,
Mm.
and he or that energy wanted to deceive Spider Grandmother into creating this realm so that he could then cause trouble. And not in, real, we're talking the darkness that we see in this realm today comes directly from Janice, who was one of the legs of Spider Grandmother. That's huge.
And yeah, because I always felt the corruption might have come also from a form of first lineage somehow, that where the first word of envy maybe came from. So that would make sense. Her
Jealousy,
leg,
envy.
her child, envy.
Yeah,
There's something there.
yeah.
Well, cut that leg off.
Now,
Hmm.
we believe, and I'll ask the pendulum, darling pendulum, if you'll answer this question. Sophia came into this realm out of compassion. Sophia came into this realm out of compassion to offset the demonic entity that is Janus. Is that correct?
Yep. You want to shake it some more? You know, we love rock and roll, baby. Come on, shake it like you mean it. Shake it like you mean it. Motorhead, Motorhead. Come on, baby. Here's he goes. Here is there any way we are wrong? See, already changing gears, changing channels, and no, you can see I'm not like blowing on it.
I actually done a couple of pendulum videos this week, and
Uh-huh.
and for my sins, I did have a bit of a rant to explain that the pendulum and the energy that goes through us will make our hands move slightly. It can't be stopped, and it's one of those things.
Well, it's electrical. There's an electrical current, right? It's energy. So yes, often like I will shake.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I get arm ache and shoulder ache through it, and it's it's one of those things. It's a bit like saying, "Oh, a tarot card reader shuffles his cards wrong or her cards wrong."
Yeah.
Movement of the
Yeah.
hand is normal, and the best tarot and the best the best pendulum user I have ever seen, and certainly without doubt, in my opinion, the most talented, pure talented brilliance of a pendulum user is somebody called Raymond Grace. Raymond, not Raymond, Raymond Grace. He's on YouTube, and you watch him, his hand moves. His hand moves a lot. That man has cleared and purified water courses.
Mm.
That man is absolute genius with a pendulum. His hands move. Get over it,
Well,
people.
that's great, but Aurelien is not agreeing because he's going like, I'm the best.
Yeah, of course, of course, of course.
See, he started to move again.
Yeah.
Who cares about that guy?
Yeah, I know. But I
He's
think
got
the
a sense of
Femi,
humor.
I,
Yeah.
I think the Femi
Mm.
would appreciate watching him because he is brilliant. Now, thank you very much. So Sophia came in. So where does Gaia fit in this? Because
Mm-hmm.
Gaia was not here when
Mm-mm.
Sophia first came in.
So how I got in what I was shown and felt and was absolutely beautiful and gorgeous, Femi, is that Gaia would have been okay. Like I just shared this a little bit, like Grandmother Spider and Sophia had collaborated, and through that came Gaia. And Gaia was very emotional based, like again, not a place, but a sentient being. Now that would make our mother Gaia her higher self, if you want to look at it, like Sophia. So Sophia would be Gaia's higher self.
Yes.
That's what I was shown.
Yeah. That really
And it was
resonates.
beautiful. It was beautiful because I never really trusted before, like the name Sophia, because, like again, I don't read, but I was listening to videos here and there. And Sophia could have been like, whatever, like they say the infiltration. So I never knew really, but that's not what I'm getting now after where I went this morning. It would be the higher self of Gaia.
Yeah. So
But she came into being because there was at first grandmother spider. That's where it all starts. The architect. It was a matrix. It's more cold, not emotional. Then Sophia came in with the emotions, probably because she saw whatever was happening and to break it. That's why I saw like compassion, love coming in at such an early stage and then birthed Gaia. And I love that.
so do I, because Gaia is Mother Nature, and Gaia is
This is our mama, yeah.
What I would call, and it's a horrible way to put it, but it's the way I put it. Gaia is the base program of a familiarity between the realms. Because when we go to 5D, we're still going to have trees. We're still going to see everything that we would see around us. And for me, personally, that's Gaia.
Yes. Oh, yeah, because it's all life.
There we go.
Yeah.
Because there has to be put my teeth in a second. No. a familiar look to one realm to another, because it's no good coming from the 3D going to the 5D and having blue trees that look like Picasso's painted them. You know what I mean? It's such a big change. It would be difficult to adjust to. But to go from a tree to a tree, which is identical, gives you the familiarity and that comfort in knowing that you're in the same realm, you're in the same kind of familiar.
Well, yes, surely, perhaps. I'd rather go from green to purple and have everyone like be blue or whatever. Like I'm in for the switch, right? But that's just me, right? Because
but in the 5D,
I also see, yeah.
But in the 5D, we're going to have all the fairies, mermaids.
But they're here already. I
know,
see
but
them.
we'll be able to interact with them. They will be with
Yeah.
us. We'll be talking to them. They will
Yeah.
be part of our lives, not something that we know is here, and we're very lucky to see them.
Yeah.
From like 0.5% or 1% of our life, sort of them being around. We know they're around with us all the time, but very few of us have had experiences with that. To go into a realm where the fairies flying along sits on the shoulder and starts having a chat with you is a little bit different to what we have now. And I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and they're fun too. Some are more bratty, and I love the brat energy. It's not evil. It's like they could pull on your hair or like
mischievous,
I like that.
aren't they? They're mischievous. Yeah.
I respond well to mischievous.
Yeah.
Like me, like at school, like if I was a teacher, don't give me the first kid in the row with the apple. Like I'm gonna like the one in the back that's not looking at me. Yeah. But yeah, so it's a very fascinating. And also, what did I get around this? I seem to have had more information that I got, but shoot, what did I get also around grandmother spider, Gaia? Yes. Okay, so this is very interesting because for me, I did feel for the longest time that within our beautiful organic simulation, that the dragons would have been the first beings, then the Lyrians, the felines. And just in the last 2 days, they come hiccup. No, the first beings were the architects, and then the dragons. And architect would have been grandmother spider. Okay, she's a builder. And then the dragons would have come from Gaia with her higher self, Sophia. So that's like that flame energy, birthing energy, like that passion energy, the compassion that came in.
Superb.
You know,
Yeah.
and again, I'm seeing like the difference between Atlantis and the Lemuria. Like one is very structural and almost like matrixy, like male dominating, and then Lemuria would have been more hearts. Like there's something, there is something coming back together, full circle. Again, divine feminine following to the moon is being like all totally like pured and cleansed through all that lineage, like past trauma of repent or tied
Yeah.
up, and now she's coming online. And then with that, sacred divine masculine is coming back, not to conquer, but to stand by his woman. And that's like evolution. It's the big bang all over again.
And so that kind of makes sense to why we're feeling a bit titchy at the moment. Because
Yes.
with all that going on in the background, with all that energy, the Schumann resonance going through the roof at times, they'll talk about sunspots and sun spikes and all that sort of stuff.
Yes.
The sun is local to us. And yes, it
Yes.
will be doing those sort of things. But I believe the sun is having less and less effect on us because Gaia is taking over again. And that's why we're feeling the difference. That's why some of us are feeling the paradigm shifts, the vibrational frequency shifts from one place to another. It's really, really quite fascinating because,
And what?
go on.
No, please, sir, after you.
Oh, you're so kind.
I know. Go.
Because what we're seeing with the 8 is that infinity symbol on its side, and this is a real big change, something that happens very rarely, and we're living through it, and we are so lucky and so blessed to be living through this, because we are going to see things that are going to be beyond our comprehension in the near future, you know, and I can't wait. It's just amazing. What a time to be here. And I
But
think,
we've made it.
but I think that's also why a lot of us are here at the moment,
Yes.
because evolved souls around the universe, whatever the universe is, because Spider Grandmother was created by something else, that if there was 8 beings that created Spider Grandmother, who the question goes then, who created the 8 beings? And we're not.
Okay, that's another show
Yeah,
because
that's.
I'm gonna have to meditate the hell out of that one.
I don't even want to go there at the moment.
Well,
But
now you put this in my head. Now I need to know. It's like
but
showing me something. Going, don't look, don't look.
don't
Well, I have
look.
to look
Yeah,
now.
cool.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that
yeah.
that takes us on to another subject. That's a really good one.
Uh-huh.
I'll get onto that in a minute. Actually, you just triggered something in the back of my head. Yeah. So that for them to for 8 energies to have
Mhm.
created this realm, and the different layers and levels of consciousness within this realm, they would have had to have a creator, or they would have had to have come from somewhere. So that's all I'm saying at the moment. And oh my God, I've started another rabbit hole down. Poor Richard. But
But you know what? I'm sorry to interrupt, but now I'm getting a vision. Say, come, who said like a creator? Could it be a pocket of one universe at one point that it pocketed like that new grandmother, right? Like, who said, oh, like I'm gonna go into a loop right now? Who says that you and me can not master our creation and therefore we become source of our and then pocket a new one, give birth? Like,
well, that concept is spoken about once you get to the 12D. A 12D being has the ability to create a new toroidal field of consciousness, and so a new
yes,
world.
that's what I just got.
And I've been told that.
And that's why it's never ending. It's the multiverse. There's no walls, there's no floors, there's no ceiling. It's on and on. Do you know, like when I was a teenager? Oh my God. So I'm going to go in my past. So you all know my past. I was rock and roll. So one day I did acid with one of my friends, LSD. And I don't know, towards the middle to three, or I started looping on the universe. And I'm going, have you realized that if the universe is infinity, there's never any doors, there's never any walls, and you just keep going and going. And then I felt in that LSD trap and I started freaking out like, where's the wall? But it's amazing, that's what it is. So we would give birth and it's ongoing. It's just so beautiful.
And that's why there's so many multiple dimensions of reality within the toroidal field of consciousness. And that's why
Mm.
I believe we can only see less than 1% of what's around us, because there could be 100 more realities within the space of us via 100 more creators like us who've got
I
to the
love it.
12D using the same space to create whatever they want within the same space.
It's crazy. That's it. No walls, no ceiling, no nothing, no limit. The only thing that limits us is our mind and how we see things and then put borders there. So, yes, of course, they were installed on us. We don't have to repeat the past. We all know what happened, but now we're coming online. But that would explain a lot of people with the perivisual, like seeing the waves or the light sparking. What you just said earlier on about feeling when you were in the car and
Get this sort of wavy.
that.
But it's always at the back of my head here. So I
Yeah,
don't
you
get
it's all it's ants,
yeah,
ants.
yeah. I don't get the ant's nest. I
Uh-huh.
get like a line go across the back of my head, and I feel dizzy, and I get
Uh-huh.
you know like when you're about to faint and you get that swoony feeling.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so you get whoop bump, and then
I
you're
like that
back.
feeling. I always like that
Yeah, yeah.
feeling.
Well, it's deja vu.
Deja vu! Woo! The
Deja vu, cat
Matrix!
from the Matrix.
Uh,
So you're
all
pulling
right.
cards. So what are you
Well,
pulling
I pull
cards on?
cards just like on the subject, and I said, like, let's see what you have to offer, higher self. So I think we started talking on before the first card that flew out was in regards to the multi-universe,
Yeah, the multiverse of
tutorial
consciousness.
field, and
Yeah.
the pie. So it's a big fat yes with the King of
Mm.
Pineapples. That's a big yes as the first card that spins out in regards to secrets of the universe with the High Priestess. And there's your duality, your Janice from dark to light. But there's the High Priestess is secrets of the universe in order to come in for handshakes, right? So a collaboration, information. So a big yes, secrets of the universe coming to humanity, sharing with humanity. I get a big Illyrian Lyrian. So Lyrians are really, really like high up on the dimension line, like 12 and up or around there.
Yeah, yeah.
So all this right now is because we had a stick in the wheel with the three of swords right now, like a third wheel party, bringing sorrow, confusement around the heartbeat, secrets unbeknownst to most, the four of swords. So while we're praying, meditating, a bit like the baby hermit, we're focusing on secrets unbeknownst to most. But then what comes next is the 10 of pineapples. Happy life, happy family, lack of nothing. This goes very well with the first card that jumped in. For the future, something extremely grueling is coming to an end. Tensor endings. This one is something grueling. We're ready to drop all these ones that roll downhill because we've succeeded. Now we're coming to celebrate with the Three of Cups. Cheerio! All coming together, celebrating, and then we're reinforced and back with Gaia, the Empress. Mother Nature. In the clarifying, we got the higher ground at war. It's been like steady moving, calculating the emotions, but now we got something new coming in with the Page of Swords, which is a deliverer of a message. So it is very beautiful. There's no creepy crawlies. The only negative ones is like we're coming out of that stick in the wheel, and we've been praying. What's next? Total abundance.
Yeah.
So that's gorgeous. Do you want my goldens, or
Oh,
am I good
please.
with that?
Oh, please.
Yeah,
No. We love a
because
golden.
golden
Golden thread.
for the golden
Golden
family.
thread. Golden cards.
Golden thread, golden family, golden cards, golden Gare, golden Richard, golden mail. All right, so give me my goldens, baby. All right, so the first one is, yeah, the world with her beautiful implants. So something has wrapped itself up in order to have a rebirth, but we are talking about the world, a new era at the heartbeat. We got the lovers, the Garden of Eden coming back online. And then we end with like, look, the magician, we can manifest anything into being, and it is exactly just that, as above, so below, as within, as without. And there's your 8 symbol there that we were looking at earlier on with the spider's web and crossing that middle side like a vacuum cleaner time. There's a lot going on here. So, ta-da.
Superb. Superb.
You're welcome.
Now, now that little spark I got when we was talking earlier, this is kind of a this is I think we've kind of covered this one quite nicely, and I don't know how much deeper we can really go into this one, because I think we've kind of got the bones of this one, and it's certainly given something for the family to think about for sure. You know, because that's what it's all about.
Okay.
Getting you guys thinking. Okay, so this is a tangent off one of your golden cards, because one of your golden cards was the Garden of Eden. You said you pulled out
the lovers. Yes,
lovers, the Garden of Eden. Now, I think I have, from what we've learned today, I can put something together in my head. I've had a few little cogs drop in. And I want to talk about Adam and Eve and the Garden of Eden, but it also relates to what we call our program, Pandora's Box. So.
Oh my God, yes, yes, you must. Absolutely, you must.
So, the Garden of Eden. Again, I actually wrote some notes down last week on stuff that I was looking at, and this came in to me, and I actually wrote deception down on the piece of paper. Now, in the Garden of Eden, we have Adam and Eve, we have the serpent, we have the tree, and Eve was given an apple. But we're not told who gave Eve the apple. The assumption's always been it's the snake that gave Eve the apple. But I don't believe it was Eve. The snake that gave Eve the apple. I think it was somebody else. Now, this comes into the fact that Janus, the twin-headed or four-faced god, the deceiver, here we go.
One of the legs.
One of the legs of Spider Grandmother. He is the deceiver. And he is kind of the bad, the demonic. Okay? Now, Eve took a bite from the apple, and Adam and Eve were fundamentally thrown out of Eden. Okay? Now, there's different ways to look at this story. I'm just putting this angle on it. Okay, now I know from my research that Janus is also Zeus. Okay, so when I've gone down the tree of names of people that are associated to and with Janus, Zeus is one of those names. Okay. Zeus is the deceptor or the deceiver. And Zeus links into Pandora's box. And this is where we get the story. And I think Pandora's box is another take on Adam and Eve. So hear me out.
Mm.
Zeus wanted to introduce demonic energies. Oh, my head's going at the moment. Zeus wanted to introduce demonic energies into this realm. If Zeus had done it himself, he would have always been known as the person who opened
Pandora's box.
the box and let out the demons. So what
Mm.
Zeus did is Zeus put all the demons into a jar, not a box, but a jar. But we'll call it a box because that's the name. The box was filled up with demons, and Pandora was given the box. And Pandora was told never to open the box, never to look in the
And
box.
then she did. And that's the apple bitten. Okay. Well, it
Bango.
seems like you got something right there. At first, you were talking, I'm thinking, okay, like a genie, because genies are demons for me. Genies are not cute. It's not like I dream of genie. They don't have boobs like that actress. No, 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 no. Yeah, I think you got something there, Gary. It's like,
So, the
yeah.
Adam and Eve story is, I think it's the words, the parable, isn't it? It's parable. It's a parable of, or Pandora's box is a parable of the Adam and Eve story, because when Eve bit into the apple, she released something that meant that the Garden of Eden failed, and the Adamu people then walked the plane. They walked the upper surface of the realm.
There's a lot in here.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm
Well,
trying to control my face as I go like kablooey.
well, I've just opened Pandora's box, haven't I?
I think you have.
But hopefully the
Yeah.
Femi can follow me on this one because I am getting proper flesh of the goose on that one. So would you like to pull the cards on this one, Richard? Because I
I
think
already am, buddy
I
boy.
tell you what, I think this is
All
so
right.
is rocking Pandora's box or the Pandora box story fundamentally the story of Adam and Eve?
All right, let's rock and roll. All right, so the first one that flew out is the King of Cups. All right, so the not Knight of Cups. I'm so sorry. So he's well calculated. I need more. Then we're back from war, victorious. So calculated, wishy-washy, paying attention to emotions. One step forward, two steps back, hard on the sleeve, but now we're already back from war. Second card with the Seven of Wands. Then we got a generosity card where the meek will inherit the earth. Very interesting. Very
Can I just
interesting.
interrupt you quickly?
Yes.
Is that not the beginning of the story?
Well, that's what it's looking. That's why I'm saying
Yeah,
very interesting.
yeah.
Yes. In the now moment. So we got about rumors. Well, anything. He's an informant, okay? So the Page of Swords. So he could be a stalker or watcher. He could be an informant. He can spread rumors or lies around. But regardless, he's got news. That's why it's a sword. It's an air element. It's information. So I see him as a messenger at the heartbeat. Oh wow, yeah, you're absolutely right. We got Gaia, ba-bam, ba-bam, ba-bam. And then, yeah, we're celebrating. So it's a yes, a future. Something grueling's coming again for the second special appearance tonight, today, the 10 of Wands. And then we got, oh, okay. So, yeah, I'm not done yet. I just want to say that's a hell yes, because it is an alpha, the Ace of Wands, a very fiery, a lot of passion, a lot of integrity. And then that's another yes. Okay, wow, the
Wow.
Ace of Swords. Clarifying, we were put into prison, self-inflicted mental imprison. At the heartbeat, another generosity where the meek will inherit the earth. That's two of them that have come out. And now, okay, look, guys, please hold. These cards are so potent. I'll go over them again. So the first one that jumped out before Gary was finished talking was the Knight of Cups. So we know what he means. I explained it. Right after, we're back for more victorious with the Seven of Wands, where the meek will inherit the earth with total generosity. That's already yesterday. Moving on right now. Gossip, innuendos, news. Gaia at the heartbeat, babam babam, is coming on strong in order to celebrate emotionally. Future, something ruling's coming to an end. We got one confirmation here with the two confirmations. Yes, yes. I mean, I got so many. I got even the last one. I got 3 out of 4 like alphas in like what is that? 12 cards. Bam! Yes, yes. It's look. I got 3 of them. I got Gaia here. I got one off-world energy here. I got another Meek inherits the earth. I mean, celebration. There's not one creepy crawly. The only ones that are kind of negative is we were like blinded, mental imprisonment, shackled, and something grueling's coming to an end. That's it. I want my goldens, baby. Do you want me to grab my goldens, my little guy?
I want your gardens,
Yeah.
baby. I
Oh,
want your gardens.
you little Home Alone.
Oh, please give me your gardens.
Oh my God, you're so adorable. My mom's gonna fall in love with you all over again when she
I
sees
know.
that video.
But your mum is so gorgeous.
My mom's
Hi,
in
Mum.
love with Gar. She finds him so cute. Oh my God. She's right. He's adorable. All right. So for this, I want first card. What is that?
The moon.
The moon. Secrets, illusion, delusion, smoke and mirrors, passing or death. Are they upside down? It doesn't matter. I don't read upside down. Then we got the magician, as above, so below. So we can manifest. A magician does exactly just that, manifesting, tapping the elements. And then we have, what is that? The tower, something shocking. Wow. Okay. So it's really big. All those were positive cards in the golden. We're talking about secrets, death, illusions, the moon. Then we can manifest. There was magic around the past and something really shocking. A foundation is crumbling to the ground. Lightning strikes.
But Richard, those cards you're holding is just amazing because the moon is deception.
Yes.
The twin pillars either side are Janus.
Yes.
The magician created Pandora's Box.
Oh my God, yes.
And when Pandora opened the box, we
oh
got the tower moment that let in the demons.
Okay, you know what? It's so fun in the collaborations. Me too. I'm full of them. But see, like by the time I finish, I actually forget what the question was, and I'm just reading. So you paid attention. Like, I don't. That's exactly what that is, my Gar.
That is, I mean, I am properly getting flesh of the goose on that one. Oh, Jesus. That
was fun.
That's huge. That's really
I love it.
Interesting. That's really wow.
That's potent. So, you know, guys, like pause, rewind, or rewatch. What? Me, it's usually like my nipples.
That'd look pretty bad if I was scratching my nipples every 5 minutes, wouldn't it?
I don't know. I do.
Wow, that's kind of mind-blowing because I come up with these ideas, knowings kind of things, but to put it together and see the cards pulled in such a way.
Well, it's just like it's glue, right? It's a rubber to glue to rubber, and then it just like matches up, you know, like we have so many gifts. And, you know, all of you, Femi, out there, you know, earlier on, we were talking about pendulums. I know all of you, most of you, well, anyone that I've done a one-on-one, you all have your pendulums. And I love it when you bring it out to our readings and play. So I just wanted to bring that up, Gar, because Gary. Because like I wanted to acknowledge the family. Like I'm aware that they've been playing with their pendulums, and like I say, the pendulum is not an outer force. It's not an entity. Like we said, the electricity. That's why we could shake at times. It's a higher self, guys.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Are you
I
are
give
you
my
my
higher
higher
self
self?
gift.
There
Yeah,
we go. Look.
that way.
Are
Of
you
course
my
I do.
higher self? Look, there we go.
And if it's not your higher self, drop, run.
But
Like
yeah,
that's why when I channel, I don't let spirits enter me and I talk for them. Like, I don't trust that.
no,
But
no.
they can come in and talk to my higher self, though.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I will only talk to my higher self. I will not speak to anybody else. It's my higher self or nobody. I'm not as free and easy as Richard.
Yeah, well, yeah. Can you give me a quick second? Can you hold the family? I need to go to the bathroom.
I certainly can. I
All
certainly
right, I'll be
can.
right back.
Wow. So there we go, Femi. The story of the Garden of Eden was actually a story of Pandora's box. And that's why we're kind of where we are now. And that's why we're seeing what we see in the news and destructive nature of the realm. Now, for those of you who are going to be new to Janice or don't really understand Janice, I have actually done the Janice introduction video because Janice is also Kronos, time, the Grim Reaper, the keep of doorways, gateways, so beginnings and endings, transitions from one thing to another. But the middle part of the transition from one place to the other, Janice has no control over. But the other thing about Janice is not always bad. He can't be. But he is the majority of him is bad. So the birth of a child is a joyous and wonderful thing. That's good. The death could be seen as not, but actually it could also be good because it then frees the higher self to move on spiritually. So it's all a matter of perspective. But what Janus did do in the guise of Zeus as that energy was took the demonic energies and tricked an innocent into opening something to create the fall of man fundamentally is what we're talking about. And that's quite a big thing. I mean, that's a really big thing in my opinion. And when Richard pulled those cards, I had a very strong very strong flesh of the goose, but whole body shakes on that one. And I don't really know where to go from there, to be honest with you. I was just talking to the Femi about the
I was
Pandora's
listening
box.
to you,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. And it's just like, where do we go from that? I mean,
Well, there's so much I think that we can expect because you know what, my Gary and Femi, I think that this could be like another follow up because now that we've literally opened Pandora's
Pandora's box.
box, babies,
Oh yeah.
there's a lot we can go in. I would like to go like deeper. So maybe this week, what I'll do is go in meditation because now I need to know what came before Spider Grandmother.
Yeah.
Like that's an energy. I feel I want to tap more into archetypes as well, but then we can move on like even further out, like for the future. There's so many places we can go. What would you like to do? Because I think
Well,
that's going to be another 2 hour show.
oh yeah, easily. I mean,
Yeah.
part of the reason why I've stopped at Zeus and this deception with Pandora's box
Hmm.
is that I've obviously done a lot of research.
You, yes.
And I know the majority of the names that Janus goes by. And I know it's going to trigger a lot of people if I went there, which is why I
Yeah.
don't really know where to go anymore because I don't want to upset people and trigger people because we've just dropped a huge bomb, really.
But
On
if we go slowly,
yeah, we
like,
yeah, yeah, certainly. I mean, as I said to the Femi, watch my introduction to Janus. look at some of the symbology, look at some of the people involved, picture
Yes.
wise, and look at who the pictures are similar to, who are similar to, who are similar to.
And
Is
also,
you know,
Also, Femi, like I said, I know because I speak to you, you all are practicing your pendulum. So when Gary speaks to you, higher self, is Richard lying to me right now? See, it's already changing gears, going to a no. Is
no.
Richard saying the truth to me? Already changing gears and going to a yes. So know your yeses, know your no. If you're not sure how to work it, I did do a video on my own channel maybe a week ago, how to contact your higher self. I gave you also like meditation, easy, easy ways to connect. So if you didn't see that video, maybe I'll post it under here because it's a very good for you to follow your intuition. You always trust what comes from within, not outside. See, Gary, he's amazing with his intellect. He did researches all his life. That's not who Richard is. Okay. I don't like reading. I've always trusted on my like inner self, right? That's why we make such a good team because there's no way I can bring a program on such subjects without our beautiful brother Gary because I don't have that knowledge. I just go in as without reading because again, I don't like reading. I keep reading the
Nor do
same
I.
stupid line over and over
Yeah,
again because I'm
I
not
do.
listening to
I,
myself.
I'm
Yeah.
dyslexic. Most of the stuff I've learned is from observation of videos.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
I thought you were a bookworm.
no, not at all. I've the only books I've ever read in my life are fishing books,
Okay.
and Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and that's the only books I've ever
Okay.
read in my life.
Okay.
I've never read anything like that at all. But what I do is spend hour upon hour watching high quality videos, and
Like
I'm
archaic. Yeah.
archaics and stuff like that. Chief Ironbush, um, Quantum Businessman, and also tarot card readers. Yourself, Jenny. Uh,
Jenny! We love you, Jenny!
yeah,
Woo!
woo! But I tell you another very good one. A British girl called Caroline, and that's Tarot Tales UK, and she's
Hmm.
very good because
I've
she.
never
No,
seen.
she's very intuitive, just like you guys, and she reads exactly the same. She
Okay, so
always,
I'll look her up. Yeah.
yeah, she always get. So and obviously Isabella. I mean that they're the tarot channels, and from the tarot channels to the hard research, Sonia Tree of Knowledge, she's awesome. Martin Ladiki, Flat Earth British. There's so many, but there's actually not that many that I follow these days, and I watch them intently, and I take off the knowledge of bits and
Hmm.
pieces that I've watched. So from doing this for years, 12, 13 years plus of doing this, I can watch a video and then somebody will say something. I go, oh my God, so and so said that 6 months ago. And that cross references to this. And that then connects to that. And then I can put stuff together. And then I
Yeah.
get a knowing. Then I ask my pendulum. And that's how it goes. Now, this is something that I said I didn't know where to go. We're going to end on this one. Just another little tangent, okay?
Yes, okay. Of course.
In the Bible, I'm sure it's the Bible. Um, could be the Book of Enoch. I don't know. I can't remember now, but I think it's the Bible. We get the eighth king returning in 2046. Okay. The eighth king, I believe, is related to the eighth leg of Spider Grandmother, which represents the beginning and the end because it's the eighth king. Because the eighth king was meant to have ruled and something happened and the eighth king never did. I think that's when Noah's flood happened. So there was seven kings. The eighth king was due to take power. Noah's flood happened in 2339, I think, something like that. 2239 BC. And the eighth king never ruled. And the eighth king comes back in 2046 to rule, to take us through to the reset. And I think, let me ask my Please get your pendulum out, Richard, and
Well,
see
of course.
if we're
I
there.
already got a yes, but
Yeah.
uh-huh.
So, am I correct that the eighth king
Mm,
biblically is also connected to Spider Grandmother, which is the reset of
yeah,
the
it's a
cycle?
yes. It's a yes. Now, I don't know who this eight king is,
No, no.
but as you were speaking, I got yes, but there's something more to it. But we're on the, is there more to it?
Yeah.
Is Gary wrong? See, already, guys, like it's so, I almost swore, cool.
But again, but
It's so cool.
but this comes from watching things and knowing the eight, the infinity, what it means, then going back to something I've seen about biblical references. And I think this was from Archaics even, when he talks about 2046 and the eighth king coming back. But this ruler is not a good man. I think from memory, I hate to say this, and remember 5D people, lovely 5D gorgeous family, you will not see any of this.
No, we're not going to see any of
This is for
this.
the
No.
3D only, and this is for the people who signed the deal with Janus.
Ah, there you go.
They
There you
took
go.
the deal with Janus, and they have been doing Janus's bidding. Okay, so will the only people that see this effect be the ones that signed the deal with Janus within the 3D? Yeah.
Is there anywhere we are wrong? Yeah,
Bloody
see,
hell, my
nope.
pendulum's following your. No,
Yeah.
no.
Well, they have a crush on each
They do.
other, right?
But the
Yeah,
other.
they do you have a crush on Gary's pendulum?
Oh, mine's changing now. That yes, they've got a crush. Yes,
Oh, do you want to
yes.
play kissy wissy huggy wuggy?
Now, the eighth king is the eighth king, as we would say, a bad king, a non-beneficial king to those left behind. Oh my God, that's a huge yes.
Yes, but it's
I
it
think
has
those
its purpose. I have like
they're paying
it's
for their
not
sins.
it's not victimizing. It's how do I want to pay? Okay,
It's tyrannical
it's
almost, isn't
beyond
it?
you made your bed, you lie in it. It's
Yes.
beyond that. It's well, it's just the way it has to be, right? We're all
Yeah.
responsible for ourselves and our actions because, guys, know this, huh? Throughout the records out there in the plane, the vault of records, there's no action we've ever done, no thought we ever had that is hidden.
It's almost
And
karmic retribution, isn't it? This is
everything is recorded, it's all recorded. But the thing is, it's not because you had like a bad thought towards someone once that you recorded wrong. It's how you react. Are you service to self? Are you going to abuse someone in order for you to succeed? Are you going to hurt someone for gain? Like these are the things that are like making this
yeah,
separation, like you're saying, for this weirdo
yes.
king. I
Yeah,
guess
yeah.
this weirdo king would be like Damien 3, the old man.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I think time really will drop by a third. So a third of the day will finish, the third of time, a third of the year will go because it will be so grueling that people would not survive if it was a full period of time.
Right.
So this is
Oh, we're
karmic.
never gonna see
We're
this.
never going
Not
to see
you,
this.
Femi.
No,
You,
no,
Femi,
no.
you're
Let's make
safe.
very clear.
You're safe. You're safe.
Femi is safe, but what we're going to see, and this kind of goes to answering another question and feeling, why are people still being allowed to harm other people in the world? And why are we seeing what we're seeing? If you are watching that sort of thing and I'm not, let's be fair, I'm not looking at it. I know it exists, but I'm not looking at it because I know that those same people are going to have to deal with the eighth king and they are going to pay for what they've done in beyond a karmic way.
Yeah.
You know, So have heart in that it's not for you to take um vengeance
That
out on these
stress
people.
with you.
No,
Yeah.
no, it's not for us to do. This is a bigger thing. For us, it's to understand where we've been, where we're going to, and work on ourselves to try and balance out and not be drawn into this skullduggery and
Yeah.
shenanigans.
I'm also getting, I'm sorry to interfere, but I got like a strong whiplash of an image right now, Gary. Like I don't look at anything right now. Like I don't look at any news. I don't know what Trump is doing right now. I already know the outcome. But you were talking about this, like the violence going on in the world, and I got a strong, strong visual. Okay, yeah, there could, but is the violence happening towards sentient beings? Like right now? Could they be NPCs? Could it be just like there's a bigger imagery here, right? One part of it is to help awaken sentient beings that are sleeping still, but I'm not getting that any of the violence that I'm not seeing right now is actually like towards sentient. Like it feels like towards NPC-ish, for a lack of a better
It's like we say, it's the movie playing out,
but
and
I'm not
and
saying
it's a
it's not
horrible way of
happening,
yeah, it's a horrible way
but
to put it, but it is. People are non-living anymore from these actions, and it's hideous and it's heinous, but it's a way of awakening people that are asleep. And in the near future as well, we're going to get information coming about all sorts of things that people that had should have had our better interests at heart really didn't. And
yeah,
so we've got a lot to come yet. So, you know, please,
it'll happen fast.
it will. But please learn to
Yeah.
smell the roses, go out into nature, go fishing, take your dog for a walk, give your cat.
Grab a cat and lick it on the nose.
Or if you're Richard, ride a shark, anything like that, anything
I've
normal
ne-
that you fancy.
I've actually chased sharks in my past, but I want to ride a great white, like on the fin. That's my dream come true. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure you will. But please don't absorb. Observe, do not absorb the energy. The energy is
Never.
not for you, Femi, you know. And you know, the eighth king is their karmic payment for that. Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
And you know what? I'm taking 3 goldens. Guys, we're good. We got the sun, the most positive card of the tarot deck. We got Dolly Parton here, the star, the Age of Aquarius, off-world healing. And then we got the lovers, Garden of Eden is all restored. So we're good. We're great.
We are.
And I do have a poem that I composed.
Superb. Well, would you like to finish the program off with a beautiful poem?
Yes, yes. But first, I'd like to make a special heads up or a cheerio. I did wear it the last time, but Wanda, thank you again for my beautiful dragon's eye. I love it so much, and I love you. Mwah! Shout out to my Wanda. So, because I don't know if you saw the last video, and I just wanted to bring her name up because it came from such a free, like loving place, and I am so grateful. And I love you.
And I
All
would just,
right.
and
Do you
again, just
guys?
before Richard starts his lovely poem, I would just like to say
Yes.
to all the Femi who support Richard and I, we love you very much and we appreciate it. The gift that I had from Pam was amazing. The t-shirt from Maya, all the amazing things. And again, I don't really want to wear it anymore because I want, oh, I've got color now again. I don't want to wear it anymore because I want to keep it pristine. So if we don't wear them on screen, okay, it's not because we don't value it. I want to keep it as a keepsake because of the love and the energy that's in there. And that irradiates everything into my my wardrobe, giving it love and beauty. So thank you very much for everything that all of you do, the whole Femi, from all your amazing comments to everything else. So Richard, please read.
Okay, so before I read my poem, I took 3 cards while you were talking, and they're beautiful. I got the Sun again, the most positive card, as number 1. Then I got We Tame the Beast by the Mount with the Strength card, and then we end with ongoing healing permanently. Yay, everything restored. Now, would you like to join me for a little poem, my Femi? It's time for storytelling. Oh my God, he's so cute. Oh, oh yeah, like that's like I want this face on all my cats. All right, so here we go, my beautiful ones. So this is in regards to the whole grandmother spider, the simulation, and our awakening. So here we go. So we remember the spider's 8 legs, each a living strand of great design. And we, the ones who walk now in flesh, carry her threads within us. The fire reborn, the bridge keepers, the dream shapers. We return not just to tell the story, but to weave it anew. The web lives, and through us, it breathes again. Yay!
That's awesome. Beautifully put. How lovely. And with that, Femi, please like, share, and subscribe to Richard Cardinal or to me, Alternative Interactions. We really do appreciate your support and we love you all dearly. And with that, Richard, what have you got to say?
Be good and kind to yourselves, our glorious golden Femi, and we'll catch you all on the next episode of Rocking Pandora's Box.
Yay!
We love you back.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.